Alright you guys, I'm gonna make a quick one-take video on 3 things that I've been asked about in the bench. So the 3 things are gonna be grip width, upper back tightness, and leg drive. And I'm already out of breath because I'm a fat power lifter. People ask me, what grip width should I use? So I can't answer that question for you, that's just all comfort. That depends on your leverages, and honestly it just depends on what you've been doing so far. That's something you can play with on your own. As far as where you're gripping the bar, so if you're gonna have a wider grip, the chances are you're gonna be benching and the bar is gonna be landing a little bit higher. And if you have a more narrow grip, the chances are you're gonna have it a little bit lower. So a good rule of thumb is when you're benching to kind of record from a side angle like this. You would record it and then you would want to check your forearms. So you look at your forearms and you just make sure you're not doing this, because this is really bad, and you don't want to have an insane amount of that either, because that's really bad too. That would cause what we powerlifters call a leakage of power. So a wider grip, you would be kind of landing the bar about right here, and then your forearms would be relatively straight or perpendicular to the floor, or they'll be having a little bit of a curvature like this, where your elbows are kind of passing your forearms. So that's fine, that's okay. Or if you have a more narrow grip, you'd be a lot lower to meet that kind of demand of having your perpendicular forearms. Just record yourself from the side and check that out, kind of play with that. Keep the grip that you're comfortable with, but just keep recording yourself and keep looking at that, and just send it to me if that's kind of confusing to you guys. Yeah, I'm recording, okay. Next thing is upper back tightness. Upper back tightness I'm gonna keep very short and sweet. It's very, it's relatively easy to learn, but the more you do it, the better you're gonna be at it, and the more upper back you build, the better your upper back tightness will be. But a good rule of thumb is just gonna be to shrug your shoulders up, pull them back, and then down. And that's gonna cause your chest to rise, and it's gonna cause your upper back to be tight, and your shoulders to be in a protective spot. So if you do not have that upper back tightness and you're a flat back bro, where you're kind of like benching and your back is you just kind of lay on the bench. You just kind of lay on the bench and then just, start benching without having an upper back that's tight. You're gonna put your shoulders in a very compromisable spot. So the next thing we're gonna talk about is leg drive. So leg drive is kind of hard to teach. It's just something that you kind of pick up the more you do it. But what's important is you kind of keep your legs tight and stable, and you don't dance around when you're benching. So a good way to do this is to try to bring your feet back when you're benching. Like try to bring your feet closer to you and then kind of screw them into the floor. I know you guys can't see me, but you guys see my feet, and that's all that really matters. So right now my feet are loose. They're not doing anything. So I'm gonna bring them back to the point where my quads start getting engaged, so you get a little bit of like tightness in your quads, and then all you do is from this point, all I like to do is just screw my feet in and drop my heels to the floor. That's it. And then from here, I'm just kind of pressing into the floor, constantly pressing this way, constantly pressing towards me. So just keep that pressing and just hold it while you're benching the whole time, basically. And that'll cause you to have stability in the bench.